Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mary D Talk Show. For those of you that are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you that are fans and you're here every Monday, I don't know how to say thank you enough. It's you fuel me, you keep me going. You're there, and it just touches my heart. Let me tell you that now. It touches my heart that you're there. So just know wherever whatever role you're in, it means a lot. Just so you just in case you didn't know, but it does mean a lot. I like to first thank you to the executive producer of the Mary D Talk Show, my husband Oliver. Hi, babe. Then I want to thank our sponsors for the show. Many of you know the number one sponsor has been here since day one, since I mean, was the first one here when the show started, and that is the president of the Idea Club, Dumas Martin Jr. Hi, Dumas. And I tell you, when I tell you somebody that's truly, truly supportive, it is definitely Dumas. And those of you, if you're looking to get a 501c3, if you that which is excuse me, a nonprofit, if you're looking to establish a C Corp or S Corp, then you want to go to the Idea Club, go online, and you want to talk to Dumas Martin Jr. He's going to be able to help you with that. Also, we have and I'm going to definitely say hi. See Charles. Hi, Charles. I wanted to thank our other sponsors. Um, those of you familiar, it's called First Book Academy or Front Page Publishing, which is a publishing company that my husband and I own. If you are looking to write and publish a book, you want to go to Front Page Publishing, and you can fill out the form and tell us all about the book that you're interested in writing and publishing. But you can do that, and there's an academy. We have an academy there called First Book Academy. First Book Academy is for someone that's writing their very first book. And that is, I think that's the hardest one. But it's not the hardest one for whatever we do. It's the first one. After you get the first one, it's like you're off to the races, and that's pretty much how I always think with that's how it is with writing and publishing a book. And I want to also for our sponsorship, if you um, for those I said I'm talking about the sponsors. I mentioned First Book Academy, Front Page Publishing. We also have a new sponsor, and it's called Doulas Rock. Doulas Doulas Rock ROCK. Doulas Rock is a website for doulas. If you are a doula, you know someone who is, they can go there and get information and support. All those things come through Doulas Rock. And thank you all of you coming in to the show, Nanette. So Charles, thank you. Hi Charles. Nanette, thank you. Hi Nanette. I just want to thank you for coming in. I just didn't get a chance to really advertise like I normally do. So it wasn't up on Facebook, which is normally how it goes out to. But those of you familiar with the email system, and I'm going to do something different today. If you are not receiving emails from Mary D. Welch, for whatever the reason, I'm going to put this up on the screen. Here we go. And then I'm going to, for those of you that are not, I don't know if you can see this. This is, you can scan this. Can you guys scan that with your phones? There we go. And you will be on the list. I'm putting that up for you. Take your phones out, scan it, and I'll do it again later on in the show. So you get a chance. And that's for you or anybody you know that's interested in getting on the list. So I want to make sure you have that opportunity to do that. Okay. And before we get going, because those of you who saw what the show is going to be about today, I call this my commercial. That's what I call it. Anyway, this is my commercial for today. This is a book. This book has been out, I want to say 3 years, but to date, this book, Saying No Nicely, sells more copies than my children's books, which is always amazing to me. Saying No Nicely. And the reason being is because inside of the book, I give you tools. How do you say no without hurting people's feelings? Because that's the problem I think women have. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So we will hurt ourselves. Think about how serious that is. We will hurt our own feelings before we hurt somebody else's feelings. That's a fact. So I just wanted to say that. So let me go. Oh, in the other book, I almost forgot, is this book. Many of you seen this now. Emails, everything. This is the newest children's book out. This is named after Bradley Can't Find His Pants, named after our number one son, Bradley. And he said his fiance was kept teasing me, and she said, "This more truth than you know." But I started laughing. But it's a cute book. You can see the pictures in here. I think it's a cute. Of course, I'm gonna say it. This is what I tell people. Somebody asked me one day. They said, "What is your favorite book?" And I looked around. I said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Because they're all my favorite books." And they said, "Okay, you mean all of them?" I said, "Yes." And they said, "Why do you say that?" I said, "I don't want one book to get jealous of the other book." Think about that. Anyway, so far, 7 books. That is, I just would be the first one to admit this is 7 children's books. There's never definitely, you know, and I know that's God. I've only been writing 5 years, ladies and gentlemen. 5 years, and 7 children's books. Not to mention the other books, which are this, as I showed you before, Saying No Nicely, and the other book that many of you received a copy of is Saving Your Home from Probate. How do you can avoid probate if you know what to do? So that's why I want to write that book. But let me go back through. I want to definitely say hi. And Charles, I see your name. Charles says, "Hello, Mary. Great topic. Really want to hear your thoughts on the urgent, important matrix as well as habit 7. Okay. And honestly, Charles, you probably can help as far as that's when we get there. I want to hear your opinion about it. I really do, because I know this is a field you're really knowledgeable. You know what, Charles, I should send you a link. You can come into and you don't have to show your face if you don't want to, but you can come in and we can hear your voice. So if you just if you say yes, I'll email you a link, and then we can hear you talk about the importance of habit number 7. Okay, Charles, and this is Nanette. She said, "Good. It's good to see you, Nanette." And she says, "Good afternoon, Mary." Now, oh, I know. Oliver, as you know, everybody knows Oliver's in the background. And then usually by the end of the show, he'll make himself known to everybody he'll leave a comment for you. So I always appreciate that. Oh, hi, Mary D. Welch. Hi, Antonio. Antonio is going to be the guest next week. And Antonio is going to be playing, I think, the piano for us. Oh, you can't wait to be back on. I can't wait for you to be back on either, Antonio. And he also sent me copies of his new artwork that will be on if you're on the email system, and I'll show you that. I'll put it up again in a few minutes. The artwork will be on I'll be on the email. So those of you that would like to purchase his artwork, you will be able to do that. You will be able to do that. So that's going to be coming out probably I'm going to say by Wednesday. I'm going to try to get that email, because my emails have been coming, as many of you probably noticed, later than they ever have. Normally they're out by Wednesday, but what I'm noticing, I think I was sending them out too early. That's what I learned. I was sending them out too soon, and people forget. And we live in a fast-paced society, so I totally get that. So, but anyway, we're going to make sure it gets out, and I'll be sending a text message, I think, later on this week about the books, and there'll be a list of the books that I have on Amazon right now. So you guys will be getting that too. And Antonio, you said, "Oh, you love my books." Thank you, Antonio. I think he has most of my books. I thought it was very nice of him. He's been purchasing all my children's books. I have another book. I know you guys are not gonna believe this. The next book it's coming out. There's 2 books that are almost done. I'm working with the illustrators now. You guys are the first one to hear this. One is called When I Was on the Moon. That's one of them. When I Was on the Moon is one. And the second one is Turn the Radio Down So That I Could See. I know. I used to say it to my children all the time. Turn the radio down, I can't see. So that kind of thing. And Charles, you said yes. Okay. Then Charles, how can you send me an email? No, I know I have your email. Let me see if I can send that link to you really quickly while we're talking here before I put everything up. So I want to definitely get make sure everybody, if you've made a comment, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, I want to make sure your comment is seen and heard by everyone that's here on the show. And that's very important to me, to do that. You can't wait. Antonio, I actually finished two. Can you believe that? Two. The one when I was on the moon, it's actually about a little girl and she's on the moon. And I don't want to give the story away, but that one is the one. And the other one, turning the radio down so I can see. I don't know that I really like the artwork in that one yet. So I have to feel everything I'm doing. I call it a vibration. If I don't get a vibration, then it's just because this has to touch me. And if it's touching me, it feels like to me it'll touch you. If it's not vibrating with me, then it's not going to be vibrating with you, is how I look at it. So I need now the one when I was on the moon, I do like the artwork in that one. So with that one, I'm probably going to go with. That's not a problem. But the other one, we'll see. But I want to send this link. Hold on, Charles. Let me see. Get this link for you. And there it is. And I'm going to email this to you. Let me see. Get this over to you, Charles, because when you get the email, let me see, you will have an opportunity then to, and if you want to come on, you can. I don't want to sound like you can't. You can, because once you get the email, you can come on the show. It's not a problem. Hold on. Because if this is, Charles, hold on. Okay, here we go. I see you right in the email system. I'm emailing you the link. And then you can come on and talk to our guests. And this is the link. I'll put the link in there we go. And it is on its way to you, Charles. Just a second here. And there we go. And there you go. So wait a few seconds and you'll get the link, Charles, to the show. And you click it, put your name in. Well, you've done it before. You know what to do. You've done it before. So, Antonio, okay, you can't wait for the next book. The next book is going to be a huge hit. Thank you, Antonio. I received that. It's like I received. So thank you. And Antonio says on here, and tell your mom I said hi, Antonio. Tell her I said hi. It says, oh, thank you. You know, I'm telling you, Antonio, you touch my heart. You touch my heart. I tell you, I can't wait for you to be back on the show because you're going to be playing the piano for our guests. I don't know if you're going to sing too, but you're definitely playing the piano. And I'm going to send out the pictures you sent me, Antonio. Are those the only ones you have left, or do you have any more because I don't know which ones you sold. So if you have any more, you can send those to me and I'll make sure those on the email and people will be able to purchase your pictures. And I love mine. I do. I just love it. So, okay. Bless you too. Thank you, sweetheart. So, before we get started here, I'm waiting for Charles. He's gonna click the link because Charles, you sound like you're very knowledgeable about Stephen Covey's. Okay. I tell you, we gift each other. Maybe that's what it is. We gift each other. That's what it is. So, but definitely. I'm waiting for Charles to come online. But while I'm waiting for Charles, let me say this. As I said before, our guest for next week is Antonio. Some of you may add, let me put my email in here. And I do that because there may be somebody who says, I'm interested in being on the show. I get this a lot though. I see your emails. What do I do if I want to send an email out through your e-blast? And I'm like, okay, then I need to tell you, there is a fee. But if I tell you how many people it goes out to, you'd be amazed. I've learned, over time that just sending, somebody asked me when they say, well, do you think it's a good idea to send something? I forget what it was. And I said, advertisement is always a good idea. It's always a good idea. On February, let me do another commercial quickly before we get started. And I see Charles made it. So I'm going to bring you into the show, Charles. On February the 15th, I will be a guest speaker at a college here for Black History Month. I was a guest speaker 2 weeks ago at an elementary school. So my speaking has just started blossoming. And I do love to speak. So if you have opportunities to speak, please let me know. And I can, depending on the availability, then we can try and make that happen. And here we go. Charles, you made it. Hello, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We
Great.
can hear you. All right. I'm so glad you could make it to the show, Charles, because it sounds like you're very knowledgeable about the 7 habits. Is that true? Of highly effective people. I think I put successful people. What did I put? I think I put successful, but it's highly effective. So what? Why don't we do this? And we're gonna start with number one of what are the 7 habits, but you know it sounds like in depth about this. Is that correct?
It's one of the things I do when I'm doing my attitudes in the workplace class. It's one of the things I do in my time management class. So I do have a little knowledge of Stephen Covey.
Okay. The very first one, and you and I'll be and I'll give you this not my permission really. Correct me if I'm not saying anything correctly, or please don't hesitate. The goal is to give accurate and correct information to our audience. So and if anyone's taking notes, I'm going to give you, I think I sent it in an email, but I'm going to still give them to you now. And that was number one, um, be proactive. So what does that mean?
Proactive means you getting involved initially, you instituting the issue, you taking people to the challenge, not waiting for them to bring it to you.
Okay. So if I say I want to write a book, do I just sit down and think about it and just keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it?
No, I think you would follow Zig Ziglar's rule of writing down your goal of how to get that book written and the steps and the challenges to it.
I love it. That's exactly right. If you're not, this is how my philosophy. If you're not willing to take one step, why should God? That's what I believe. I believe you take one step and God will take two. But if you don't take a step, that's just my way of thinking. And hi, Edna. Hi, Edna. That's my cousin. Hi, Edna. so, so I'm saying that because sometimes I think, and you tell me if this is how you feel too, that we think if we pray about it, that's it.
If,
And
if you pray about it and you simply leave it to praying about it, that's not going to happen. You still have to take actions.
okay,
You need that guidance that you get from praying about it.
okay. I agree on that. I think, but you know that some people think, oh, I prayed about it and I gave it to God. I've heard people say these things, by the way. I prayed about it, I gave it to God, and now I'm going to sit back and wait. I've heard them say it,
You probably heard it said more than once.
but I'm trying to think if I ever seen anything happen if you didn't pursue whatever it was that you were pursuing. I don't think so.
Well, God gives you the guidance, but that means you still have to take the initiative to do it.
Correct. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, your very first step on the 7 habits is to be proactive. You can't sit back and wait for things to happen. You have to go out and make things happen. You have to, and I'm not saying just run out there. I think what Charles was saying, you need to sit down, write it down, have your goals, and you know that many of you already know this. There's power in writing down your goals. Just imagine writing them down is powerful.
Mary, let me jump in and say something on that.
Okay.
Until you write it down, it's not a goal.
Yeah.
A goal is when you have something and you specify exactly what it is. You specify exactly when you want to have it. You specify exactly the things you need to do to get there, and then you write it down. Until you write it down, it's still just a dream.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So those of you that haven't written it down, and I don't think I have my notebook with me. I've showed many times. It's just, all I have is a binder. I say all, but I write things down all the time. Oh, I'm constantly, and for me is because as I get older, I have to write it down too, just so I can remember it. It's to that I can't just assume I'm gonna remember things anymore. I can't do that. I have to write them down. Or like many of you use your phones. I struggle with um, putting things in my phone and getting the reminders. I still like to write it down on a calendar and see it in front of me. That helps me tremendously. But I know that's what I've done for so many years. But I know we have electronic ways that are better than that. But I still haven't really I don't do it as much as I need to. Let me say that. I will say
Mary, Mary, have you looked at the Microsoft app OneNote?
I have not. Let me write
OneNote,
that down.
OneNote is a phenomenal note-taking app.
Okay.
It will
Right.
tie in all of your devices.
It will.
Yes.
Okay. I'm writing it down now. I've heard of OneNote, but I didn't know what it did. Okay. I will look into that. You see how just being on the show, you learn? And that's every single day.
Another,
Oh,
another thing about writing down things that your thoughts is it's said that you should keep a pen and notepad by your bedside
yes.
because a lot of us have those great thoughts in the middle of the night
Yep.
and the next morning we've forgotten about it.
A friend of mine's a writer, and we talk about ideas are in the air. Think about that. Your idea or it's for the it could be someone else has the same idea, but what Charles just said, I have done this before. Have you said, oh, I'm gonna remember it tomorrow, it's such a good idea, and you don't remember it? I'm a witness to this. Now I don't even say these things anymore. I write them down because I already know if I don't write it down, that idea is gone, and many times it's gone forever. So keep that in mind. Antonio says, and I'm going to claim that I'm going to pursue it. All right, Antonio, claim it and pursue it. And the truth is, if you don't do it, this is what I realize. Somebody else will. That's what I will tell you. And you said 24/7, Antonio. I like that. And Edna Duncan says, right. All right, Edna. And it's good to see you, Edna. I don't get to see my cousin that much. And then we have you use that too, Edna? All right. Good for you. And then she says, I use the note app, one of on my iPhone, and my calendar is set weekly with 2 alerts for your show, Mary. Oh, thank you. But I've never used it. But you know what? After we get off today, guess what I'll be doing? Because I have meetings. Oh my goodness. It feels like my meetings have meetings. So I definitely have to use something to get back on track. And here's another one of my cousins, Jimmy. How are you, Jimmy? Jimmy says, just clicked on. You can do with one note. Oh, hey, Sister Edna. Now think about it. These are a sister and brother on at the same, but they're both my first cousins. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Tamika. I don't know if Tamika's there or not, but hi. And they're in one cousin's in Arizona and the other cousin's in Texas. And we have here Sonia. Oh, hey, beautiful. Oh, hi, Sonia. Yeah, Sonia, you got to come back on the show. We got to talk, Sonia. And there's Edna. Thank you, thank you. And Sonia says, Mary D. Welch, you're such a beautiful soul. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Sonia. And Edna, I tell you, but he said, hi, Jimmy. You guys are funny. And then Edna says, oh, you're in Oklahoma. What? See, I didn't know that, Edna. I learned something new. Okay. All righty. Well, welcome to the show. I don't know. Do you get my emails, Edna? I know Jimmy does. But I don't know if you do. It says yes to OneNote, this live. Tamika Rose at work. I'll tell her hello. Okay. Thank you, Jimmy. It was good seeing you too. We saw each other. We were at our family reunion. We're going to go to number 2, how Edna said. Oh, you do get them? Okay, good, Edna. I wasn't sure. And Edna says, you don't know? Okay, got it. Our number 2 for the 7 habits of highly effective people. Begin with the end in mind. I'm going to say it again. Begin with the end in mind. Now, I don't know if you guys do that. I wish I could say I did it all the time, but I honestly don't do that. I need to do it. Begin with the end in mind. Do you want to talk about that, Charles?
Let me start by asking you a question. Do you
Okay.
have a vision board?
I do not. I do not. And you know what? And this is really sad. Years ago, I wanted a car. I'll give you guys this story. I may have already shared it with the audience. I wanted a car. I went down to the dealership, got a picture of the car, and put it on the door leading into our garage. I drove. I got the car, but it was about 7 years later. But every single day that I went in and out of that garage, I saw that picture.
So you were beginning with the end in mind.
I
And
did.
that's what a vision board does for you.
Wow. I'm taking all the Charles, I'm taking notes from you. You see? I do not have a vision board. And I do need one. I really do. Okay. So we have one note. I have that on. So audience, I'm taking notes. And to have a vision board. So those of you that have a vision board or know about vision boards, you want to share with the audience what a vision board is, Charles?
A vision board is where you put pictures of the things you like to do, have, and be.
Yeah.
They tell you typically to have the pictures as accurate as possible. As an example, if you said you wanted a new house, then the picture should show the exact type house you want. If you're looking for a new car, it should show that particular car. You've got the resources to go online and find the pictures for almost anything.
Right.
That vision board should be something that's constantly in front of you. Some people will tell you the vision board goes in the bathroom, so you see it twice a day. My vision board is actually the desktop on my electronics. It's the desktop on my computer, my tablet, my phone,
Right.
which means that vision board is always in front of me.
I believe this that you're drawing it to you. You're drawing it. I think that's what it is because I for the car I saw. I mean, my children still remember that. They remember that I put that picture of that car into on the garage, and now we drive that car.
Did you
And
ever see the movie The Secret?
I heard yeah, I saw. I did see The Secret. Yes,
Re-watch it again. It'll take you back to how things are drawn to you based on you putting them in your mind, in your universe.
it's true. And then even for the I am Christian also. Those of you that say you believe in God, I don't know. Everybody believes what they want to believe, but I'm a witness to this. When you believe, you have to have the faith to believe, like as it says in the Bible, the faith of a mustard seed. A mustard seed is so tiny, tiny. But I really think that that was God's way of saying that you don't need a lot of faith. You need some, but you don't have to have a ton of faith to believe. And the key is that you have to have faith though to believe you're gonna receive whatever it is that you are praying for. So that's my interjection into that. And we have some more comments. Edna says, oops, what did you say? You said, oh, you don't get my emails? No, I don't get emails. Okay, Edna. You have my number, don't you? I'll call you. Do I have your number? I think I have your number. I'll call you and give you so you can send me your email, or you could send it on Facebook and put it in the DMs on Facebook, and I'll send you because the email list. Those of you on the email list know that list. I try to really, really inform you about as much as I can, and many of the emails, Edna, are virtual. The things going on, you could be anywhere in the world and still log on. Doesn't matter. So I love the fact that but everything is not virtual, but a lot. I think it's about 50-50. So just know I'll make sure you get that. And hi, Elaine. Elaine says on here, um, I'm, you said, I'm on after the WAG meeting. Love you getting so much family support, my friend. Oh, look, Elaine, what would I be without my family? And you said, these are important points to become a successful person. Thank you for hosting such a dynamic discussion. Thank you, Elaine. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, This lady, if you're looking for scholarships for your children to go to college, that's the lady. In fact, Elaine, we have to do a show with you. Remember? We have got, I'm not kidding. I definitely want to have a show about you and your scholarships and helping kids go to college. That's really important to me to do that show. So we'll talk. Um, the mustard seed. I know, Edna. Think about that though. If you really think about the faith you need, it's not a lot of faith, but you got to have some. You got to have some. And you said, right? I know. I know. Yeah, really, I agree 1,000% on that. Now I'm going to make sure we get ours in because I don't want to miss any of these 7. Number 3, Charles, put first things first. I'm going to say it again. Put first things first. I have to work on all these. I do. I'm not. People probably think, oh yeah, you have it together. Oh no, I need work like anybody else. There are things I have to work on. One, I want to work on to get back into a workout routine where I walk, and exercise. I started yoga, but I've got to get more. What's the word? Disciplined with it. I'll definitely say that. But I want to start walking, and I haven't added the walking into it to get the cardio up. So there are things I have to work on. I am getting more water intake though. I'm definitely doing that. Drinking more water, drinking tea with lemon, things like that. But I've got to increase my cardio, and I'm working on that. So put first things first. Did you have any comments on that, Charles?
One of the things that is a highlight of Stephen Covey's book is the time management matrix. And in the time management matrix, he separates things that are urgent versus things that are important. And he puts them into 4 categories. I would urge all of you to go online and download a copy of the time management matrix. Stephen Covey gets the credit for it, but actually it was brought up by Dwight Eisenhower. But if you put a piece of paper into so you've got 4 sections. The top right section are things that are urgent and important. The top the top right section are things that are important but not urgent. The bottom left are things that are not important but urgent. And too many of us get caught up in that last quadrant, which is quadrant 4, which are things that are either not urgent or not important. It's all the emails we get. It's all the time we spend online with online shopping. There's so many things that go into that category.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of us lose a lot of our time and a lot of our focus on what's really, really important.
Wow. So I have important at the upper right hand. And then I got not urgent or not important in the lower right hand. What was the upper left on? What was the top left?
The top left are things that are important and urgent.
Okay. And what was the bottom left?
The bottom left are things that are not important, but they're urgent.
Ah.
And one of the things you've got to learn is to not let other people define what's urgent for you.
Woo, that's big, Charles.
When my children were younger, when it got to Christmas time, my wife would always say, "What do you want me to bake?" And they would give her the list. As they got older, it got later towards Christmas before they brought something up. And at one point she said, "I'm not going to let what's important to you become urgent to me because I gave you time to answer it a long, long time ago."
Wow. You know what happens is it becomes stressful. It's what it is. When you have that stress on you of, oh, I got to do it. And she said, "You're not going to stress me out."
Right.
Mm-hmm. Wow. They still had Christmas though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The big goodies were less.
Oh, got it. Okay. Let's see. We have Edna said, okay. Okay, she's going to send me her email. And then we have, right, Antonio he sends a smiley face, and Nanette says, your emails are very informative, and I use a picture from your email as a picture cover for my Facebook account. Wow, this week regarding the Black History flag raising. Wow, Nanette. So you live in Riverside. You must live here or nearby. Wow, 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 wow. Well, I will tell you, many of you know I am a retired teacher. I taught over 34 years. Okay, Nanette. Oh, that's right. We met. We met at the Civil Rights Institute. I remember. And good and meditation too. Yes, I agree. And meditation too. Thank you, Antonio. So I would and that I remember us talking. I'm hoping that we can get together because we got a chance to talk really briefly. Yes, we did. I took a picture with you. I did took a picture. So I would encourage. Edna says, "What is the title of the book?" The title is
The title of the books are The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
right. These are 7, and we are on habit number 4. Habit number 4. And number 4 is, and thank you for all of this, Charles. I really do appreciate it. It is think, win, win. Think, win, win. I like that one. You want to share that one with us, Charles?
Well, if you're in any situation, the ideal outcome is to find something that's going to be mutually beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And you start by asking the questions to get to the point to understand what can help me versus what can help you and how we can help each other.
Right. So what is a win-win in this situation? No matter, so you want it to be you can't always have a win-win, but
can't.
the goal is to have a win-win.
Right.
Okay. Did I know everybody get that on the win-win? We want to make sure that we're trying to, to share that. Oh, you got that. Okay. It's the win-win. You said you can join your meditation breaks class with us. Oh, really? Okay. I don't know about that part, Antonio, but you have to share it with me. We're going to talk about that. And then Edna says, oh, I thought you mentioned another. Oh, maybe it's another email. I'm not sure, Edna. But you can, I was just going to say, you can just email me your email, and that's fine. And anybody else that would like to send an email to Mary@marydwelch.com, and you will be added to the email list, which is totally.
I'm on the show right now. Sign into Mary's show because she'd love to hear from you.
Is that Dumas?
It's Dumas.
Hi, Dumas.
You guys enjoy your show.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So Edna, are you talking about the book? Let me put it in the chat. 7 habits. It's 7 habits of highly effective people. Yeah. Yep. I hope I spelled it right. Yeah, I think I did. Okay. And let me put that. There you go. And the reason I wanted to have this for a couple of reasons, to be honest, to remind me of different things I need to be doing. So it's not just when I'm talking to the audience, I'm also talking to myself as a reminder of things I need to do in my life and things I need to change and that kind of things. And I think what happens as we get older, we get stuck in our ways. That's and I'm guilty of that too. You get stuck in that routine, and sometimes that routines are not always a good routine. Okay. Edna said she has it, but she's gonna pull it off and dust it off. Well, you know what, Edna? Now you don't have to buy it though. You already have it. You don't have to buy it. That's for sure. So that makes a difference that you don't have to buy it.
There are so many people who've attended motivational seminars, bought the book, took it home, put it on the shelf, never read it.
I know. I think I think we've all done that. I'm gonna speak for me. I know I have. So this is what we are on habit number 5 now. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. And say it again. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So, Charles, you want to tell us about that?
Well, to a large degree, that's pretty much self-explanatory, but it goes into one of the other habits, which is listening. You can't seek to understand unless you're willing to listen. And there's a difference between listening and hearing.
Right.
We all hear. John Maxwell says everybody listens, but few connect. And that's because most people, or too many people, already have an agenda. When you start speaking, they're already thinking of how they're going to respond before they let you finish.
You have to tell me. I struggle with that. I do. This is what I do. I put my lips together and go, you cannot speak. I am talking to myself. You don't know that part, but I'm actually going, don't talk, don't talk. And I really am trying to do that. Listen. Do you know, that's why I did the show on last week. Listening is hard.
Yeah, sorry I missed that show last week because I do a whole class on listening skills.
Charles, I'm gonna bring you back again. I'm gonna tell you that now. You coming back because it's so many different things that we need and I'll be the first to admit, it's not that we don't know them. I think so we just need to be reminded. And that's what I think it is. Just to be reminded of these things. It helps. Now, Edna says, I don't, but listening to the audio and CD now, it is on Audible. Okay. Yep, it is. I like that. Edna said, I'm gonna dust it off. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have a copy too, Edna. I sure do. It's right here on my bookshelf. I sure do. And we are, let me see, where are we? Time-wise, we're at 1:40. Okay, we're good for time. I just want to make sure. I want us to get all 7 in. Anyone taking notes, I want you to be able to have all 7. Okay. We're on. Oh, before we go, let me say before I even say this on this part, because this is really important. When you listen without thinking about what you're going to say, without interrupting anybody, any of those things, it is a different way to hear because all of your energy is focused on what the person is saying. That's what I found. And I mentioned this last week, how my sister-in-law, we were talking. She didn't even know I did this. I turned my chair, I faced her, gave her my undivided attention. And it's like her voice changed because that's not how we normally I'm talking to her and I'm writing or I'm literally paying attention. I'm kind of like half paying attention. And I said, no, give her your undivided attention. And I really think that if you do that with your children and grandchildren, it changes them. That you're not on the phone and saying, oh, I heard you, or you're not texting and say, I'm listening. And all of these things we do, trying to, multitask. If you turn and face that child, I've actually done these things, and I mentioned talking about this last week. They have actually said, is everything wrong? Is everything okay? They were so used to me not giving them attention till when I gave attention to them, they thought something was wrong. So I would highly, highly, highly tell any of you, give that child, grandchild, whatever, your undivided attention. Don't, if the TV is on, turn the volume down. Show them that they are so valuable that you don't even need the volume on, or you don't even need the TV. I turn the TV off and talk to people. And this is what I tell people. The person on that TV set, they're making their money. They're doing just fine. What we're saying is more important than what I'm hearing on that TV. That's how I really try to show my appreciation and my respect for whoever is talking, is I turn everything down or off or whatever and focus on them. And that's just a tip that I'm just going to give to the audience. You're going to change somebody's life by doing these things. I promise you. If it's a coworker, and you stop and look at them and talk to them, they're not going to know how to act. And it can be a spouse, it can be a friend, does not matter. We're so used to people not listening to us. So when they do, they're going to be shocked. They're going to ask you. If they ask you what's wrong, that's how you know you're doing it right. If they go, what's the matter? You're doing it right. So that's just my little excerpt in there. Okay. Next, we have synergies, and synergize. I think I said it right. What is synergy? But it's synergize is what it's saying. Synergize. What does synergize mean, Charles? Oh,
That's you putting your energy and your effort and your research and your whole soul into adapting to something, to bringing something new in, to talking about a new project.
yeah. I can tell you. It is. And oh, I'm sorry, Edna. I know you have to go. Thank you for stopping by, Edna. Synergy is is it contagious?
Very contagious. Because if you're showing a positive attitude and a positive way of going about things, people are going to see things in a different light.
Yeah. Yeah. It is one of those things that I think, and you helped me with this, Charles, it can go positively and it can also go negatively.
Well, how people perceive you can go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things when I do the attitudes in the workplace class, we talk about how people, where their attitudes come from, how to understand where other people's attitudes come from. And that way, if you understand the other person better, it helps both of you.
It does.
And one of the things that people don't understand is that there could be very little things that make a difference. And the example I give is that there was a young lady who I knew, and when we first met, we understood we had both gone to the same high school.
Okay.
Even though 5 years apart, same high school. But I always still wondered where her attitude came from. And a conversation she and I had probably 6, 7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I found that not only have we gone to the same high school, but we've gone to the same nursery and elementary school.
Wow.
But her statement was, and this helped me understand her attitude. She said, but you grew up in a house with both your parents and a yard you could play in, where she grew up in the projects with a single mom in a neighborhood where she really didn't feel safe going outside.
Wow.
When you understand the people better, you understand where they're coming from, and it helps you to work on that synergy to help move things forward.
Wow. I know I years ago, a friend came over and she said to my parent, well, she said to me, not to my parents, but she said, are these both your parents? And I looked at her, I said, yeah. She goes, no, I mean, are these both, I'm not kidding, this is a true conversation. She said, are these really both your parents? And I looked at her, I said, yeah, why? This is how naive I was. I didn't even understand the question. I didn't because they were. And she said, that's not your stepfather? I said, no. She goes, and she said it again as if I didn't hear it the first time. She goes, that's not your stepfather. And I thought, no. And I didn't even understand. She said, this is from a young teenager. She goes, I've never seen this before. I've never seen the biological mother and father in the same household, and these are their kids. And I was like, look at but I didn't know any different. So what you're saying is, Charles, the lady that said that to you, she recognized the difference, is what she was telling you.
Oh yeah.
She understood that her life experiences and your life experiences were so diverse that the way she looked at what you both went through was through a totally different lens.
Yes.
Isn't that something? And I will bet her mother was doing the best she could.
Her mother not only was doing the best she could, her mother was a law clerk for Louis Stokes, who was a part of the Stokes. Carl Stokes was the first black mayor of a city, and she was working in the law office of those people. So she did eventually get them out of that neighborhood into a better neighborhood.
Right.
But
Wow.
but the young lady's view of life was initially based on what she had grown up with.
And they could be related to me. My mother was a Stokes. And anyway, that's another whole story. But I say that because I found that there's so many relations I have from that. It was a Stokes family in Mississippi, and I mean Stokes Farm in Mississippi, and all that. It's a whole nother, topic. When we talk about that, we go back into that. But I would tell you, I remember that conversation because I was confused. That's what it was. I kept thinking, what part of yes, these are my parents are you not getting? And when she was telling me, she said, I've just never seen it.
Mary, how old was she?
We were about 14 or 15.
Oh,
Yeah.
at that time in your life. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were about two teenagers, but I didn't think nothing of it because that was my living arrangements. I didn't know any different, but she did know a difference.
Well, going back to the situation I just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
the immediate probably 8 or 9 blocks around me were all homes that had husbands and mothers and fathers in the household. But here again, that same young lady who grew up in the projects, those projects were less than 3 miles away.
Wow.
And within that same vicinity, if you will, you had 2 different type cultures. You had a culture where people were a lot of single parent homes.
Right. Yeah. Because I remember her, she said, I just cannot believe that these are the same people that, and I just kept thinking, okay. I didn't even know what to say to that. Because that was my reality. But it really made me, truthfully, I think from that day, I've appreciated that. Probably before that day, I never even noticed it. That was my reality of that. Because why would I notice it?
Right.
Uh-huh. But it seemed like maybe it wasn't long after that they divorced. Can you imagine that? I'm not kidding. It wasn't long after that. They did. And I thought, wow, isn't this interesting? But it did happen. So anyway, number 7, habit number 7, sharpen the saw. Sharpen the saw, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Charles.
Sharpen the saw, and here again, you can go online. There's a quick video on the 7th habit on sharpening the saw. But sharpening the saw is about you constantly renewing yourself, doing the things you need to do to renew yourself. Right. The example with sharpen, as I said, there's a whole thing on sharpening the saw where somebody goes and they see a guy trying to cut a tree down and it's taking him forever, and they ask him, why don't you sharpen the saw? And he said he was too busy sawing to sharpen the saw, not realizing if he had the sharp saw, his job would have been a lot easier.
Right.
So from the 7th habit, those whole thing of sharpening the saw is you renewing yourself spiritually, mentally, physically, on a daily and weekly basis, and putting down the goals of the things you need to do. As an example with you, Mary, you said that you want to start walking. What part of your sharpening the saw would be you actually instituting that?
And it's funny because this morning I took out, not funny, but I took out my shoes, everything to start walking. And then my phone started ringing. And then I did the yoga, but I didn't do the walking. And I remember thinking, just today I said, okay, after the show, you're going to walk. And this is what I had to do too. I stopped putting these demands of, okay, you're going to walk this far. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Just go for a walk. I mean, I was stressing myself out about a walk, and I'm just not even walking that far, but just everybody had to calm myself down.
Part of sharpening the saw is you making a commitment to yourself.
Right.
If you remember, you had a gentleman on your show a few months ago, Carl Guillaume.
Yes.
Who's the fitness trainer.
Yes.
I'm his coach, and when I got him to understand the importance of structuring his day properly and sharpening his saw, he's moved forward a lot quicker than he was before.
And what you just said is so important. Let me take a quick, like I say, a quick pause for the cause. I'm gonna put this up, ladies and gentlemen. What he just said about sharpening your saw. For those of you that are interested in writing, don't go anywhere, Charles. If you're interested in writing, I'm just putting this up. You can scan this. Oops, can you see it? I don't even know. There you go. It's a better picture, I guess, of it. That is for those of you interested in writing a book. And if you don't see it or you can't get a copy real quick of it, hold on. Then you can use the email below and send your information in, and you can come to the free webinar on a week from today. And it says 6:00. I wanted to make sure I put that in there. And let me bring Charles back, because Charles, you have been a wealth of knowledge today. And I want to make sure I thank you, because this was at the last minute. You came on, as soon as you saw what the topic was, you like, okay, I have some expertise in this area.
And like I said, I really want to be
I'm so glad you came on. I really am. Pardon me?
I said I was really trying to get on last week's show with the listening, because there's, as I said, I do a whole 8 or 16-hour class on that.
Whoa, my goodness. Well, I'm definitely going to bring you back for sure. And Nanette said, listening used too much easier. It used to be too much easier, but now I tend to interrupt because I don't want to lose my train of thought. I know. I'm guilty of all that too, Nanette.
Write down your train of thought and let the person talk.
Okay. You said let it go?
No, write it down. So that way, when they get finished, you can still remember what you wanted to talk about.
Okay. And you had a similar incident that a friend asked that I have both parents too. See, isn't that funny, Nanette? It felt funny because I kept saying, why are you asking me that? I didn't even understand it. And it was about a few years later, my parents divorced. And they always regretted it. But that's, that's part of it, I think. But anyway. And Jimmy Lee Rose, hey brother, that's Edna. I know you guys are too funny to me. And this is, I don't want to say your name wrong, but Sonia Adams inboxed me right now, and I have messages for you. Okay, is that for, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sweetheart. Ola, I don't want to say it wrong. You have to sound it out for me or something so you can say it right. But welcome to the show. Welcome. Because I know we are down. We have 3 minutes. Charles, do you have anything you like to add before we close the show out?
If you don't have a copy of the book, get a copy of the book and read it. Don't just get the book and say, I have it. Get it, read it. It will help you.
All right.
There's also, if you go online and click the 7th Habit profile, there's actually a written test you can do that'll take you about 10 minutes. It'll give you some insight as to where you are and where you're heading.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. And thank you again, Charles, for coming on the show, because I appreciate this input. I know you guys think I'm this wise woman that knows everything, but I'm not. So but I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy learning. To me is just something I love to do. I love to learn. I've never lost that, and I hope I never do. The desire to learn something new, because nobody knows everything. I don't care who you are. No one knows everything. So keep that in mind, because no matter what anybody may say or think, there's always more to learn. And before I let everyone go, I want to first thank Charles for being here today. And Charles, we're going to do a show with you, and that you tell me what your topic is. And I would love to have you come back.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting near to the end of the show today. Remember, if you're interested in writing or publishing a book, send your name and your email to this email, Mary at Mary D. Welch. Or let me think, you can go with it, or you can use as I showed you before. Hold on. You can scan. That's another way. If you scan it, you go straight to the email list. Oh, Oliver says, hi, Charles. Welcome to the show. Thank you for your expertise, and welcome to the guests who participated. Thank you, Oliver. I think Charles just left, though. You just missed him. He just left the show. So, but that happens. But that's okay. So I wanted to go in and move the banner. I just realized that could have a problem. The email banner. Hold on. Let me find it. Are we out of time? We have 1 minute. Here we go. There we go. Let me move that out the way. Hide that. Now, here we go. So those of you that want to scan it, you can. Can you get that? There we go. There you go. Take your phone and scan that QR code. You go straight on the email list, and you'll get the email to come for those of you that are interested. And we're exactly at 2:00. So I just wanted to tell you, I love you guys. I'll see you in a week. And then we'll have Antonio, and he's going to be singing for us. And we have his prints, his wonderful paintings. So I'll see you guys in 7 days. God, if God say the same. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.